Hey, damn, we got the front camera 4K. We're out here, man.
We out here,
So today is a big podcast for us. And I don't know, maybe by the title you guys are going to know what we got going on. But this is a huge call. And this right here is a big opportunity for the half court. I think you guys are going to find a lot of value. We just want to keep scaling this shit. We just want to keep taking it to the next level, man.
Let's go.
What we got going on, bro?
Gary V on the call today. We're
Huge.
getting ready. We're a little nervous. I'm
Yes.
a little nervous.
Hey.
Let's hear what he has to say, though.
We got a little,
Gary.
we got a little stuff. So right now what we're doing is we're getting everything prepared because like I said, this is huge for us. And we just decided to switch it up, give you guys an insight of preparation before a podcast, especially of this big of a magnitude, because this is like, it's an opportunity that we can't miss on. So we're out here, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we're going to bring you guys along and just keep it short, nice and simple, and let you guys know what we got going on. So stay tuned. Peace.
Gary.
Cheers to another year. My hands are ashy as hell, but cheers to another year of success for the Half Court Podcast, brother.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Someone that time, Casey.
I just got my agreement from slotcycle.com
Sheesh.
to work with them.
We out here.
Let's go.
And we almost ready, right?
We almost ready, baby. Gary, let's go.
Let's go. Calls in 5 more minutes. Well, we got 10 more minutes. We're having technical difficulties right now because, everything never goes as planned. So, it's just part of the process. Like, we're going to figure this shit out. So, y'all stay tuned.
We are live. I don't know why we're whispering, but we're live.
We're live. The call has begun.
Gary's about to enjoy it.
We're like little kids.
I know.
Shit.
Gary, can you hear us?
Good.
Mic check.
I can hear you.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Half Court Podcast. I'm
Thank
Casey
you.
Gonzalez. This is my co-host.
I'm Darwin Ortiz. Nice to meet you.
And I was
Pleasure, boys.
I was fortunate enough to buy a FaceTime Fly token. Huge win. I thank you, Gary. I've followed you since 2015. I've been an entrepreneur in the gaming business. So I work with tribal casinos and the tribal network.
Nice.
I'm a long-term believer. I believe in this token. I'm going to be holding this till 2035 and I'm going to be following you. And my goal is to really tell the story of how I monetized eventually a relationship with you through this
cool.
access in
Very
Web3.
cool. I love it.
And just to give you a little bit of backstory on me, started in the tribal gaming business in 2013 with an internship. I worked for a company that was a disruptive in the Oklahoma gaming market where they provided the equipment and leased it to the tribe. And it was a rev share model versus the tribes buying the equipment themselves. I grew in the industry, ended up starting my own company with the clients that the company I interned with didn't work with. Right now, I'm actually working with slotcycle.com, the first digital marketplace for used slot machines. You can't do it on eBay, being compliance reasons and showing that you're regulated. And so they've created this digital marketplace. So now I'm working with them to grow to Seminoles of Florida, to Ho Chunk in Wisconsin, to Pechanga in the western side. And my goal with VFriends is to, now that you've given me access to yourself and to your network, obviously everybody in VCon is there because they believe in you and your movement. Bridging the gap for Web3 and the tribal casino space. Obviously they're governments too, so they're their own standalone government. So how does Web3 disrupt that service? And
cool.
I'm here for the long game. Yeah, I'm here for the long game. I want to be the tribal guy that and that if there's a disruptive in that industry, or I meet somebody through your network at VCon that helps me lead that way.
The VCon business development's going to be crazy.
Huge. I'm excited. The names. Snoop. That's
huge.
Cool. Yeah, no, we're pumped. And I recently started a podcast with my buddy Darwin to give a platform. I've never really been a social media guy, and my business has always been just the tribe. So you never really have to use social to grow that business.
Of course.
But now through the podcast, sharing the story and the journey, Darwin's going to be out there. He doesn't own a token, but we're going to get a hotel room. We're going to be in the lobby, and we're going to interview anybody we can find.
I think a lot of people, now that we're giving NFTs tickets to the event, I think, I spoke to 3 people today through the FaceTimes that are not going to be able to go. They're going to sell their tickets. So you might be able to get in there, Dar.
Oh, awesome.
We're gonna work every angle. We're
Yes,
hungry, Gary.
yes.
We're
Yeah, I
hungry,
see
and
the
we're gonna be in the
hunger in the
lobby if anything.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And even during this, I wanted Darwin. He's a big. The reason why we had synergy in this podcast is because he's grown on your content. We have some of the same values in long game, and it's a grind, and sometimes it's not on your timeline. It's how it works. But you got to knock on the door. You got to go there. You got to make the moves and the preparation.
You got to get comfortable with, no and losses and L's and steps back. But to your point, you've got to find a framework that allows you to not be fearful to try.
Right.
That's one thing I think we're pretty good at is just blocking out the negativity and just going full throttle.
You guys, by virtue of just having each other, you're already good.
Awesome.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom. Facts. It's the
finding
network around
finding
you.
that one positive, optimistic, but practical friend and going into cocoon and battle with them is a blessing.
Yes.
Right.
Amazing. Gary, let me ask you this question real quick. Thank you once again for the opportunity. I'm very humbled. This is one of my dreams to just be able to talk to you. You seem to have an eye to catch on things early, right? You started your YouTube channel with the wine library way before YouTube was a big thing, right? You called TikTok. I remember even before the pandemic, you were like, TikTok, get on it, right? So I'm seeing that and I'm catching on to that, right? So my thing is, with Web3 being so new and being the future of technology and blockchain, how do you think content's going to be made off of Web3? You think there's going to be a competitor for YouTube, and especially with all the censorship that's going on?
Decentralization.
Decentralization. Where do you think that's going to go as far as content and YouTube being some competitor kind of deal?
Yes, I do think so, but I think it'll take time.
Mm-hmm. We're very early.
Yeah, it's early.
We see Joe Rogan getting off. We see, Trump was silenced, whether you believe in him or not. Is there going to be a decentralized network of information?
Of course not, because governments are not decentralized.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That is a big one.
And it'll be interesting how the space evolves through that.
Yeah, of course. China already has its own blockchain. Russia doesn't play around. America does its own version of it. It's humanity. People, and you know what's so crazy? Left, right, blue, red, religion this, religion that, politics this. What you find out? Almost everybody in the world has good intent. They just see it different.
Yeah.
People have decided different is bad. As if everybody in Israel and everybody in Lebanon are bad, and it's not true. As if Republicans and Democrats are all good or all bad. It's stupid. It's why I've been using the purple heart so much now in my content. I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm coming, DD. Let me just wrap this up. In a world where everybody in America wants to be red or blue, everybody's purple.
Right.
There's not one fucking American who actually fully believes everything Republicans think and and if they're listening right now, they're yeah, I do. I'm because you decided to change your mind in the last 8 years because there's a lot of heat.
Right.
You've changed your mind on some shit to be aligned with the team you decided.
Right.
But in real life, everyone's purple.
Facts. Yeah, I totally believe in that.
Yeah.
Last question, Gary, to kind of wrap it up and change. As I look to help my, my casinos and some of them are brick and mortar. And if in the metaverse, all of a sudden you can go compliance, gamble on the metaverse, does it kill the brick and mortars that don't have amenities? And how do they get ahead of the Web3?
It becomes a game of and just like my dad's liquor store got ahead of everybody in Web 1 because I went on the internet, went all in. The answer is to get all in. Learn.
All in. Yeah.
But the metaverse is a few minutes away. We got to wait for that.
Sure. Well, we barely
that's VR.
In this business, it's been a broker business. When I bought games from the MGM, we got a spreadsheet from the MGM saying these are the games. Now we got a digital marketplace finally in our industry. Our industry's been very non-advanced when it comes to technical. They haven't grown. They're always behind. We've had eBay forever. Why haven't we had a digital marketplace to sell slot machines? So how does Web3 and how can I bridge that gap for those clients? And I think I'm already doing it by being at VCon, finding access like you, long game, education. But really,
I gotta go. But the answer is education, which will lead to the insight, which will lead to the starting of you innovating. No different than your internship opened your eyes into a world you had no idea about. You learned. You saw the arbitrage of, well, they're not going with those people. I'm ready. I'm now ready. I'm going to go. Like, it's all the same shit.
Right.
I got to go. Jeez.
Later, Gary.
Thank you. Damn.
Solid.
Yeah, how'd you think?
I think it was great.
Yeah?
I mean, it was yeah. I mean, you could always use more time, but.
Right.
Yeah. No, I thought it was great.
We are good to go, bro. How do you think that call went, bro?
That call, my boy. Oh,
Shit.
that was, I was nervous, but it flowed. It was so quick.
Yeah.
It was so quick.
It went by so quick, and I think, man, you executed that call very good, bro. I think from start, you went straight down to the chase. And, bro, I think, once again, bro, I want to thank you for the opportunity, because had this not happened, whole universe thing, I wouldn't be meeting Gary Vee for the first time. Like, it is wild, bro. And it's crazy what technology and blockchain has done. And
facts. I mean, we were talking in our last podcast about the internet and how I had an advantage to my parents. You know, my mom being a young mother, having me at 19, and at 23, 24, or even at 19, getting her surroundings were what gave her knowledge, whether that be her older sister, her mom, like, and she was, and me, I'm telling you about me being in the Navy, listening to Tony Robbins, like listening to these folks and being in the room with them. And now, fast forward 2022, Gary Vee launches a Web3 service that gives you a FaceTime access. And we just had that. We just had a Web3 FaceTime access, and Gary Vee, you know, we got to, I think, play the long game, which is great about our conversation. When I recap it, I think we played the long game because we gave him an introduction to us. Mm-hmm. He said there's definitely a possibility you can get into VCon, which we're going to be there. Yes. And like we always talk about, preparation meets opportunity. So we're going to be there. And like the long game says to me, we have 3 more with him. And depending on how he develops that IP, we're going to use that to our advantage. Yes. And every year we got 3 more VCons.
He's gonna get to know us.
Yeah,
he's gonna get to know us. Like, that's 3 shots we got to make an impact and be like, damn, these guys are doing something. These guys are hungry. Yeah. 3 years in the game, and like, these guys want it. So it's like,
and he's hungry. I've seen him do joint partnerships with guys that took over Empathy Wines. I've seen him do joint partnerships with other NFT projects and providing their project to his PLP program. So I know that if we have value and we're there knocking, me and you are going to be able to find our way and find how that road fits. And like we talked about, bro, me and you talk, like, and we're like, well, even if it isn't Gary that we do something directly with, what if it's the guys at Bored Ape Yacht Club, or the guys that did CryptoPunks and Larva Labs? Like, the opportunity is abundant.
And I think it's just walking in there, and the way I'm seeing it is there's a bunch of doors. I'm going to knock on every single door. Like, what are we doing? Like, give me a shot. Let's go. You know, I'm hungry.
Like, why else are we here? You know, and it's so key, bro. We talk about that all the time. Yes. Like, we're here. Preparation meets opportunity. Like, let's see where it goes. Let's jump. Let's not even overthink it. Let's not overanalyze it. Like you always say, like, let's not overanalyze it. Let's just walk. You know, let's crawl. Let's walk, and then let's run.
Yes.
Like, but let's just start.
Let's just go. And then, like, as you said in the previous podcast, just jump. Just gotta jump. Jump. I feel great, bro.
Yeah, me too.
I feel great. And bro, to be honest, I think that was like, I had never felt that nervous in a long time, bro.
I was nervous too.
Sweaty. Like, I'm looking at shit, I'm like, bro, this is about to happen. Like, this is fucking wild. And you know, we look back and like, we've been following him for quite a bit. 2015, like, I think it's the same year shout out to AV. He put me on to Gary Vee, and like, man, that changed my life. Just the whole mentality of like, I got to go get it no matter what. And it's paying off. You know, I think that's the big thing. You know, if you want to take something away from this whole situation, if the OGs that have been rocking with us since day one, like, just go.
Just go.
Jump. You always can go back to whatever you were doing previously, you know?
And shout out to guys like Gary Vee, man, that like, like I say, the only thing he's ever put out there to purchase is his books, and his books were beneficial to me. And then now this Web3 project that 10x my investment, like, but good for him. He created content that motivated me, that got me out of things for free. And he never followed it up with take my course, become a business leader, like do this. Like Gary Vee did that for free, but he knew analytically that if I have attention when I am ready to drop a project that makes sense, like VeeFriends, and it's going to 10x people, the attention's going to be there. They're going to buy it and they're going to benefit the most.
You see how we were talking last podcast about patience and how social media disrupt that?
Yeah.
Where we want everything fast and stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be like Gary. You have to look at that shit long term. Like I'm not selling you nothing. I'm providing you value. So when I do sell you something, you see the full potential in it.
Yeah, because you know I've been giving it for free the whole time.
Exactly.
So like he's finally giving me the hook. Because you know when I watch an infomercial, I'm like, okay, when are they gonna hit me with the hook? You know, when are they gonna hit me with the sell?
Exactly.
Like, and he's never done that. So when he finally gave VeeFriends, I was like, I mean, even though I didn't know nothing about NFTs, I was like, I gotta buy it. Yeah, I gotta buy it. Look at full circle today. Web3 brought us.
Yes, bro. To me, that was wild, bro. And it's like, it went great.
Yeah, it went great.
I think it went great.
Yeah,
I think we plant that seed. You know, we got to meet him, and then in VCon, that's your opportunity. I'm gonna be there with you, and we're gonna make shit happen, bro. We're gonna knock on these doors, and we're gonna knock down the door. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling great, bro.
And we get to show y'all. We get to bring you guys along for the ride with us, which I'm so excited about. Which Darwin, which credit to you, bro. Thank you. Like you got me into this whole like. I was taking steps and I had an idea that I maybe wanted to do a podcast, but now you've already given me your outlooks because you've been doing it so long and you've built up to where you are today. And like, I think the collaboration of the two
and
is
Gary
really going to
said
bring
that shit.
value.
Gary said that shit.
Yeah.
It was like, if you go in and you had a partner and y'all go in on it with this whole podcast thing, bro, the limit is the moon. Like, let's go. Like
he believes in the joint partnership. He believes in it because it's true, bro. Like when you have somebody there, even when the audience isn't there, but we're motivating each other. Me and you are going on this journey together. Yeah, we're documenting it for everybody else, but like the fact that we have each other makes that venture much more fun.
It's huge,
and that's
bro.
what we're here for, the fun.
This is like third weekend. We've been, and in those 3 weeks, we've been meeting up. We've been doing like weekly, like we'll sit down and look at like, how can we do, what can we talk about? What guests are we going to invite? Like we've been going crazy on him, bro. And it's like, you've done what you said you're going to do, be all in. And that to me is like huge. You know, when you go into businesses, you know, you have to have both feet in, not one in, one out. And I think, yeah, bro, you've done that. And I think we both are constantly thinking about ways that we can evolve and keep doing things. Like you'll message me randomly like, hey bro, I got this going on. What do you think? And I'm like, yeah,
how can we incorporate?
Yes. So I think it's beautiful, bro. And I think I'm excited to see how we keep evolving. And most important, like I said before, we're enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
That's
Bottom
huge.
line, like this is fun.
This is
me and
huge.
you linking up. It's been so much fun. Even these last 3 weeks, like just us hanging out more, being more creative. When you're with a boy and you're sitting in the living room and you guys are just dreaming up all these dreams, bro, there's nothing more fun than that to me. Like, and I found that again with you. I had that in my first joint partnership, you know, and when I got to link up with you, like having that person that has those same visions and goals just only amplify yours. And it's tight, and everybody needs that. And, you know, sometimes you find that you need those mentors, but even a mentor is different because the mentor is giving you knowledge that he already has, and he's already kind of maybe gone through that, maybe in his own joint venture with somebody else. But like to have somebody that you're with the same vision and you're climbing together, it just really makes it much easier when you're going through that hard part because you know your boy's going with you. Kind of reminds me of the military, to be honest. Because the military is like that way. Like you guys are going through, embrace the suck, they always say, or stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the fact that it was okay at the end is because I had 3 boys. I knew that on the weekend we were going out together. We were doing this together.
And that's a relationship you developed there. It wasn't like you knew them from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. And we were in the same mission together. And kind of like you and I, you have the ambitions for the podcast. I have the ambitions for the podcast. We both bring unique perspectives, but like the fun in it is us doing it together, experiencing it together. So I'm excited, man. And VCon, bro, that's coming up in May. End of May.
They already confirmed with Snoop Dogg, which is a huge one.
Snoop's gonna be there.
Just knowing that he's gonna be there, it just gives me like this, like, damn, that is huge. Like, and who knows And we're going to, you know, like I said, we're going to knock on each door and one is going to open and be like, okay, come on in.
I mean, I want you guys to hear this now. Like, this VCon conference isn't till May, but Darwin and I, we want to show you that we got that hunger. We're going to be in the lobby. Me and Darwin already got talks about how we're going to set up in a lobby, how we're going to go to VCon, how we're going to get him in there, how we're going to tell Snoop, maybe Shaq, maybe Logan Paul, maybe the owners of Bored Ape Yacht Club. We need 30 minutes of your time. I mean, we're talking about getting a suite, having the podcast already set up, just so these people can say, you know what, I like you guys. Yeah, I'll give you 30 minutes of my time. And that's all we need. That's how hungry we are. And that's how hungry everybody out there needs to be that wants to do this. And we get to just tell the story.
So, man, what keeps you going, brother? Because, like, I'm fascinated by it, right? Because people, when they get to a level, you know, that you are, you know, you're making big bucks and, you know, you're comfortable, right? And some people are like, damn, I'm good with that. You know, I'm good with what I'm making. And they kind of sit back. What keeps you going to want, like, more?
That's key, bro. That's a 2-part question for me. It's so key because you're right, man. I mean, and what you have to realize is, say you knock your first goal out through the water. I remember my first goal, bro, being when I had my internship, I'm going to make a 6-figure salary. I'm going to make it. There. And when it happened and I was able to get that and I got my like second or third promotion within Gaming Capital Group, I then met my business partner and I made the leap to get 50% equity with him and leave the job that I had. That was my goal. That was my thought process. And even in these last couple of years, transitioning from my own company to working, you know, with GCG Direct and Slot Cycle, there's been kind of a period where what else is next? What's more? And I think what's helped drive my hunger is just being open to the opportunities that excite me. And I've always thought about having a podcast. I've always thought, and when I met you and I seen how hungry you were and I see your ambition and I see that you took this thing from a garage to here and that you lost your co-host, but you still decided to pay the rent for this, that stuff inspires me. And it just made me double down on double down honestly on your vision, but bringing my value to it.
Yes.
And honestly, when it's a new project like that, if you're a competitive person, you want to win, whether it's basketball, whether it's a flag football game with your friends, whether it's fucking Monopoly with my mom and little brother, we want to win.
Yes.
So the fact that we started this and the fact that we put our name on it and say, let's do it. I think you've even seen it in me. Like, we want to give the best value, and it's not, we need the views. That's what I love about you the most. It's like, how can we give value to somebody listening, whether it's the 10, 12,
yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And
that's all we need, bro. And I think that's why I have a jersey of my boy over here, rest in peace. Mamba mentality, bro. It's just like, how can you get better? And we're always thinking about that stuff, like, because we already putting in the time and effort. So, like, how can we get better for the next one and the next one and the next one, and just having fun with it.
Right.
And I think, man, it's like I said, it's definitely been challenging. But I think, you know, the people that are in the position that they're at today, whether it's your idol, you know, Kobe himself, I'm pretty sure he had his ups and downs. I mean, he started, you know, in the bench and was airballing his first year, and, you know, but he said, I'm going to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to, you know, they're going to know who my name is when it's all said and done. And he definitely did that. And that's what I want to do.
And to bring it back, D, on your point, I think it's important. What always has driven me is I always have an ideal. By ideal, I mean I have an idea of where I want to be in the future. Necessarily, the yearly points can change. And I know that A to Z, you got to go to B, C, D, E, and it changes through your course. But if you have an ideal, and I remember something I saw on YouTube a long time ago, I can't even reference the exact video, but it told me to come up with my ideal. A Man Thinketh. As a Man Thinketh by James, we'll have to get back on that, but A Man Thinketh by James, can't remember his last name. It talks about how your mind basically and thinking towards your ideal will eventually get like a manifest type thing, right? So my ideal, I wrote down 3 things, and actually I still have it to this day, but I wrote it down when I was in my internship in 2013, and one of them said business owner, and another one said an influence to everybody in Albuquerque. and positive. And so I've always had an ideal to go back to my hometown and take capital that I've built throughout my adult life and apply that to influence and aspiration for people, for folks in Albuquerque. And being that that's one of my ideals, you know, I've already accomplished one. I wrote down business owner in 2013 when I was an intern, and I've already accomplished that. And I think it was important that I set my mind to that ideal. And looking back on that card, it gives you a little motivation. You're like, damn, I wrote this in 2013. I've accomplished 1 out of 3. Like, let's go.
Yeah, bro.
But I don't know how it's going to, I don't know the points. Like, you're one of the points. Me meeting you is one of those points to that end game. And it's cool. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
That's crazy, bro. And like the beginning of the year, bro, to now which we're at mid-February, like it's everything has just been going so like according to plan, smooth. Like it's been good, bro.
Yeah.
And then like you're getting ready for your 26-mile run. And how's that been, bro? Because I remember you brought that up.
You know, I'd be texting you. I'd be like, I ran 8 today, or I ran 3 today. It's been tough so far. I think I ran 8 miles last Friday. I think it was like 7.25, but it was at a 9:44 pace. I think at the end of it, I had a blister the size of Mississippi on my left foot.
Jeez.
So 26 is going to be a hike. But
overall, how you feeling? Like
I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. And you put your mind to anything. And at the end of the day, I'm going to accomplish it. I'm not going to quit this race. And what's cool is my buddy Ivan is actually running the race. So now I have somebody to pace with. And he's running about a 10-minute pace. You know, a good race in the marathon, you're running either between a 10 to 11 and a half minute mile on that pace for 26. So having somebody there and kind of hearing his inputs, I mean, he provided me knowledge on what shoe to wear. Like he said he improved his time by 40 minutes on the Asics he wore. So I'm just doing everything I can, bro. And it's another goal to the end means, because if I get to the point where I need to be financially to influence these folks, well, I also want to be in a position mentally and physically
that's
to
huge.
Inspire those. So this goal is just something I can knock out that'll help me keep that physical stature.
That's huge. How long do you think that's going to take, that run?
So if you run
26.
that 10 to 11 and a half, it's around 4 hours and like between 4 hours and 4 hours and 45 minutes.
Damn, that's to think that your body's going to be
For 4 hours.
And a pace, like your whole entire body. That is wild.
Yeah. Homie listens to a podcast. I think I'm still going to stick with the playlist, a long 4-hour playlist, but he likes to listen to podcasts when he runs. I've honestly never ran this long, and I'm starting to think that if I do run with the music, because music hypes me up, it gets my heart rate elevated and it allows me to finish. But these are like 5Ks or 4 miles. Like if you elevate your heart rate within the first 10 miles, you might not get to 26. So you got to stay calm for a consistent period of time. So maybe a podcast is good insight. I don't know. I've never.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that you're right, because there's music that hypes you up.
You up.
At that point, you have all this thought process in your head of like, I got to make it. I'm going to make it. Boom. And then you get hyped. Like, oh, let's go. And you start running faster or something, or running at a more, faster pace or something like that. So I think, I mean, we'll
see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's another goal. And yeah, one thing that interests me is I was watching, we were talking about, what question you were going to ask Gary. And I think it all stemmed from our Joe Rogan talk with them censoring Joe, or trying to censor Joe, and censoring Trump, even some people you don't believe in. And you asked Gary, is there going to be a decentral YouTube competitor to where all information is out there? They can't shut you down.
Right.
And his answer was kind of interesting. It was like government. And he was
basically
straightforward with
so basically, even if it's decentralized, government's still going to be there.
Government's going to regulate it. So you think about the internet first being the internet, right? Everyone was on this central network where you could, chat rooms where you could say whatever the hell you wanted, anti this, anti that. Well, then all of a sudden, Web 2, which is the internet today, gets owned by corporations, which you've seen Zuckerberg in front of Congress how many times? Like, they regulate Zuckerberg. They regulate the founders of YouTube. They regulate. So how is government going to come into Web 3 and say Decentraland's not Decentraland? Or it was interesting, his answer, I was like...
Never thought about it that way until like, oh, wait.
His answer was pure government, like, and how that's going to get. And obviously, he didn't sound very optimistic to
Yeah. As far as like no censorship,
it being full decentralized
for the people. Yeah. Yeah, and if you think about it, it does make sense. They're going to find a way. That's why they hate cryptocurrency and Bitcoin so much, because it's just like they're trying to find a way to regulate it where it's like they have control over it. And, you know, it's interesting. And we're still super early into it where we don't know what's going to happen and what direction it's going to go. So we just got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Right now, the hot stuff right now is that the NFTs. You know, that's the hot stuff right now. That's the door of opportunity of just... That's the game changer, bro. It's just technology behind it. Like, you know,
honestly, all of it, you know, blockchain in general and how it's this application that's validated by us, the people that are out there mining, the people that are out there using their computers to validate whatever information. And it's a network that you can write code on. So now it's a decentralized network that you can transact contracts with. I mean, you know, currency with. It's definitely an innovative technology, but Gary's answer is honestly aligned with how I thought it was going to. Once regulation happens, how innovative can you really be? You know?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I think we're definitely going to talk more into that as we go. We're going to, you know, incorporate more of that NFT blockchain technology as we go. But man, let's switch it up a little bit, bro. I think we're good to go. We've talked about some good stuff, some good intake on the NFT.
We hung out for the Super Bowl this weekend. That was fun.
That was fun.
Bro, that halftime show was live.
That probably top 3, top 2.
Take me back.
Man, where do you categorize that halftime?
So I mean, besides Janet Jackson's like titty popping out and there being like a thing, but that was a big controversy, right? Honestly, bro, those are all the OGs. Kendrick, Snoop, Dre, 50, big 50.
Yeah.
I'm at $1.25 now, whatever you call it. But boy, it had me hyped.
That was
show
one hell of a game. One hell of a game, one hell of a performance. And man, we
can't forget M.
Yeah.
M.
We had
M at the end.
Yeah. We had a good ass time, man. I think I'm interested to see what happens next season, but it was one hell of a game.
Yeah, the Bengals, poor Joe Burrow, the King Joe Burrow. You know that boy, he won a state championship. He won a Heisman. He won a national championship. I think this is the first time he's faced failure. Jeez. Like if we ever get to podcast Joe Burrow, like I want to be like, how was it? Like you're a golden child, bro.
Yeah,
like you've won every time you've been put up for something. The Heisman.
And now you're in this biggest stage, and man, you were this close.
He was close.
Jesus.
Close. Yeah, that's a big. It's like a boxer. Like you ever have that boxer that's been like 28-0, like all KOs, maybe 25 KOs, and he loses his first bout.
It hits him.
It hits you. Like it would hit anybody. You know, like how would you take that in? Like how do you bounce back from that failure?
But I think with the like NFL, like basketball and stuff, I think it's a little different. Just because you win, you win and lose, right? But boxing is more personal. Like you want to stay undefeated. That would be my goal as a boxer. In basketball, if I take an L, okay, I'll look at the next and see how I can win the next 5 games and stuff like that. So boxing is definitely more personal. You know, I can see, you know, Ricky Hatton wasn't the same when he got knocked out by Mayweather. You know,
right?
There's a lot of people that just couldn't take it. Ronda Rousey, when she lost
that was huge. She wasn't the same. Really bounced back. She never really bounced back.
She never was the same.
Shout out Holly Holmes, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh shit!
Holly was there.
That's hard. I didn't even know. Damn.
So I was in Pink Parrot. I was with my girl at the time. I was boy Matt. We went to the mall. We made T-shirts. Like one of my boy's T-shirt said "Bring It Home." My T-shirt said "Underdogs on top," and I think my girl's T-shirt said "Boot Kick Girls Do It Best."
And this was she was
fighting Ronda Rousey.
Oh,
and so we're at Pink Parrot just watching it, but everyone at that time didn't know who Holly was.
Yeah.
And so I remember, and I actually placed a wager on Holly. She was 9-1, so I only bet $200 on her, but it paid $900 for every 100 I bet. So I won 18 off 200. And I remember we were in the I was in the bathroom and the fight was about to come on. on. And somebody was like, yeah, bro, like this Ronda Rousey, we don't know this Holly girl. It's probably going to knock her out in 10 seconds because Ronda's last fight, she knocked the girl out in 9 seconds or something like that. So sure enough, I told the dude, I'm like, I don't think you know this girl. She's a boxer from Albuquerque, but we'll see. Bro, after that fight ended, I think I bought, everybody in there a shot, and it was just a whole blast. But yeah, Ronda never really bounced back from that fight. It was all
level.
Holly.
Yeah, it's on a personal level. And, some people take it good, some people don't. I can tell you right now, McGregor has not won a fight since who knows when, But he's taking it good. He's been training.
Yeah.
He's been looking solid. He broke his leg last time. But I don't know. I think, but
it shows the champions that bounce back from the L's. Because is it an L or is it a lesson?
Exactly.
Or was I too
come back stronger kind of deal?
Yeah.
So it is very interesting. But yeah, we'll see. I'm always a big fan of sports. You're a big fan of sports. I enjoyed the game. That Super Bowl from start to finish. It was a good one. It's what we expected. We wanted a close one. Didn't go our way as far as you're going 4 Rams by 4.5. So it was a good one. But man, switching the topic a little bit. You like to travel and you've been around the world quite a bit. And tell people one of your crazy stories, bro, because you got some stories. So
want to do story time?
Story time with Casey. Yeah. Which one you trying to put out there, bro?
All right. So I'll tell this one. So this happened in Medellin, Colombia, and we'll keep names out, whatever. But so I go on a bachelor party, right? I go on it's a bachelor party in Medellin. One of my boys, half of his new friends, because he's taking a career in Oklahoma, they're from here. So I know a couple guys that are going on the trip, but the majority of the guys are going from LA. So we meet in Colombia. First day, we have a blast. Second day, we decide, me, the bachelor, and another one of my friends decide to stay back. So we decide to stay back and everyone else explores the town. While we're taking a nap, because we just got a massage. So we get a massage. We're like, let's take a nap. Let's go out to dinner. And everyone that, when they come back, we'll all go to dinner together. So I'm sleeping in my room. And this is a hostel. We rented out the whole hostel. Mm-hmm. So our door locks and everything. Had 2 jacuzzis in it. It was a vibe. Well, I hear, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, yo. I'm like, all right. So I hop up just in shorts, no t-shirt, socks. So I open the door. It's a full-blown Colombian cop. And the cop's like yelling at me in Spanish. Andate, come on, levántate. And I'm like, what? And he's pulling me. So I look up. This is a 3-story Airbnb.
Yeah.
I look up and Aaron, my boy and his boy, they're looking at me and they're like, what'd you do? And I'm like, and a cop's pulling them out of their rooms. And I'm like, what I do? What'd you do? Well, the cop takes us downstairs. Everyone's lined up on this couch, right? And so all my boys are lined up on this couch. Well, both cops are like, get on your knees, but in Spanish. So we all get down. I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my God, is this happening in Colombia? I'm like, wow. And so I'm laying there. Well, he goes to the bachelor, it was my boy at the time, and he's like, tu jefe? He's all, drogas. He's like, girl, what? And he's yelling at him. So he pulls him up. Bro, the cop handcuffs him, puts a bag over his head, and walks him to the jacuzzi. And as he's walking to the jacuzzi, I'm like, if he goes out, I got to do something. Well, and the jacuzzi's telling him, muerte, you're going to die. And so he comes back, the guy sits him on the chair. And when he sits him on the chair, handcuffed with the bag over his head, I decide to sit up on my knees. And I'm like, this is where I got to at least make some kind of entry. And I'm like, Estados Unidos, militar, Estados Unidos, ¿cuántos dinero? And he looks at me and he says, ¿cuántos dinero? And he comes over and he literally, bro, he puts his gun to my head. And this is the first time in my life, D, that I think, I get chills in my body.
You're so thinking you're done.
I look down and he's like, levántate. He picks me up, he sits me next to my boy. And my boy literally, he tells me, he's like, Case, are we going to die? And so after that happened, I see one of the guys from the group start to get up. And he's fluent in Spanish. So he starts walking to a door. And he lets literally 12 to 13 strippers in the door, right? And it's all a hoax. And he spoke Spanish. He found cops to back him up on this joke. So I get up. realized that they all came in, and the cops like trying to come, and I'm like, get off me. Like, I think dude thought I was gonna go to the embassy because he's trying to show me his gun, and it's not, there's no bullets in it, but it's a gun that was to my head. So like, bro, it was the worst joke to go wrong. And there's actually some follow-up stories because I ended up kind of making it, you know, I barely met my good friend, and this guy was one of the best men in the wedding. I actually told the groom's family this whole story. And during the wedding, he tells my boy, he's like, I think Gwen's family doesn't like me. Like, I think his family. And it's because I told him the whole story. Like, who's like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, that's
Bro, it was
crazy.
the first time I ever thought I was going to like really go out. Like,
That's a wild ass story, bro. And I'm pretty sure it took you a cool minute to be like chill and get back in the group because you're like, fuck, bro, I thought I was gonna die. And I'm pretty sure you saw your life flash before your head.
Before my eyes.
Like that's fucking wild.
You know what's
bro.
tight about it? Like, the only positive I could really take out of it is like me, my boy, and my other boy that weren't in on it, like we become closer. Like we were like I was like, if shit goes down, who's gonna tell him Estados Unidos cuántos dinero? Like I was trying to stick up for you in that moment when I could have even just stayed on the ground. You know what I mean? So like those things kind of grew us a little closer. The cops stuck around till we got ready. We got ready and we went to the club, and they stayed at our place the whole time, listening to music, talking to the girls. They were really afraid that we were going to go to the embassy. Thinking forward now, what I should have done is had those dudes escort me in the club, like make love in, and been like, oh, you know what I mean? I would have had the cops escort. I should have used them to my advantage because they were really nervous that we were going to report them. But yeah, that was the first time in my life I ever thought I was gonna go out.
Bro, that is wild, bro.
Real story.
Yeah, that is crazy, bro. Because that's like, damn, bro, that's one hell of a story, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. No, but you know, it is, and it also is like, damn, I wish I could have avoided that one. But now that you tell it, you think about it afterwards, because I mean, who gets a real cop and tells them to do that? Like, I definitely wouldn't have done this joke on you, D. You can travel with me, and I'm never gonna be like, put you in this situation.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But it's crazy, bro, because it's like you guys were in a situation where it was pretty tough, but none of you guys folded. None of you guys did anything out of the ordinary. The thing that made you more solid is because you stood up. You was like, man, I gotta try something, you know. And
but even how I look at it, bro, like, what if something went wrong? Like, what if I really did, like, I stood up and said that, but like, what if one of my other boys or I did like hit the dude, and then he like, and one of the guys changed, like, it was just a joke that wasn't supposed to be, you know. And that's just one of the many stories. I know we're talking about having story time on the podcast as we go forward, and through my travels and people I've traveled with, there's been some stories, but that's one of them, and yeah, I'm gonna take that one with me.
Yeah, no, that was dope, bro. That was fucking. I'm pretty sure at the time, man, it took you a minute to shake it off, huh?
Yeah, no,
because you wanted to beat the guy up too, huh?
Oh yeah, I think I told you a little more about how I wanted to really take this dude out, and like my boy's like, hey,
fuck that.
Yeah, but fuck that. Like, you don't play that kind of joke. Yeah. I mean, it's the first time I felt vulnerable. I definitely hate to feel vulnerable, and I definitely felt that. And that's because, you know, for me, I think actually that was the first trip overseas I had taken as a civilian. So every other trip overseas before that point, I had been in the Navy. So that was my exposure. This was my first, because I had barely met my boy. I had moved to the Park Harvey, downtown OKC. And it was like I had just got a promotion with the company that I was interning with. I was able to move downtown. And so I met him through that. And I remember even going to Dallas to get my passport day of to go with him. So like, it was the first time I had traveled overseas since, 2012, 2010. So like, when you do that, I mean, and you haven't had that experience in overseas and being around, folks and knowing where the good areas to go or the bad area, I mean, it could really freak somebody out. Your first time in Medellin, I
can definitely see that. And that's one of those where, shit can go south. It's like you said, right? When I went to Cancun that last night, we were driving back to our hotel.
Yeah, let's go story time, D. Let's go.
No. Okay. Like, so yeah, last night we're, going to the club. We're getting ready. Like, let's just make the most out of it. We got to leave tomorrow morning. So we go to the strip in Cancun where all the clubs are and stuff. And keep in mind, we've had drinks, right? And then we're leaving them in the car as we go. This was during the daytime, but we're leaving the drinks there. We're not, the cans of beer and shit. So we're at the club. They close like around 3, 4 in the morning. We're on our way back. Cop pulls us over. Like, hey, go to the side. And we pull up to the side. I'm like, why he's detaining us? So we keep in mind that night we only had one drink because we wanted to make sure we're not, too fucked up. We're flying back. Anyways, so he looks at my buddy that was driving. He's like, hey, you've been drinking, right? You've been drinking, trying to put pressure. And I'm like, tell him you haven't drank. I'm telling this shit in English. Like, you haven't, no, not one beer. And he was like, you sure you haven't been drinking? And keep in mind, like, I'm looking in the floor and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, because we don't remember if we had any beer cans. So there's one under the seat. The rest is like sodas, thankfully.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, he was like, I'm going to ask you to get down in the car. I'm like, nah, no, we haven't been drinking. Like, there's really no reason for you to detain us and stuff. So I'm talking in English, pissed. So that way they can think like
Sense
I'm a tourist.
that.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I'm talking to my buddy. I'm like, bro, what the heck? Like you gonna let us mess up our vacation, this and that? And like, they looked at us. He went back to his buddy, his cop. And I guess they said something. And he was like, yeah, it's not worth it. Boom. And then they let us go. But just to think, like, it's a simple shit, but just to think that could have been south where it's like, get out of the car, you guys are drinking, and we're going to take you into the station.
But you know what sucks about that is you got to be ready, because I remember specifically in Punta Cana. So me and my boys go to Punta Cana. Me and my boy, we break off on our own. We rented these mopeds. And I remember the guy specifically when we rented these mopeds, he's like, keep this piece of paper because the cops will pull you over. And so me and my boy, we break off because we got to hit the ATM. There's one ATM in the city. Like, because we went to Punta Cana and we didn't stay at a resort. We stayed at Airbnb. So the resort have ATM all day. But we went, found an ATM. When we go to the ATM, there's a dude with a loaded shotgun in front of the ATM. So we're like, damn, there's like 8 people in line because it's like the only ATM. But I noticed that people have watched us go to this ATM. So me and him, and good on them, because I pulled out money for my 2 boys and my boy pulled out money for his boy. So we had a lot of cash that we had pulled out to get ready for the next 2 nights. So we pull out this cash, we leave the ATMs and we're in the mopeds, and sure enough, bro, already set up, which we took the same path to the ATM as the same path back, there was a stoppage with these 2 cops, and they pull us over, and me and my boy pull over, and right away I'm like, bro, we're not speeding, we're not doing nothing wrong. And so he's talking to us in Spanish, and he's playing the card like he knows no English. So he's being aggressive, and I know he's talking about this paper, and I remembered homeboy telling me. So I pull out the paper, but you know what has saved me, and I've kept my whole is when I got out of the military, you get a veteran's ID that still shows U.S. military and shows your previous rank of the military, but it's a veteran's ID. Well, I've always kept it. And so I pull it out, and I'm like, Militar, Estados Unidos. So I'm like, we're here on a mission. We're here on a thing. We're staying at an Airbnb. Like, what paperwork do you need? I'll call my supervisor. And I know he knows English, bro. And he's thinking he's acting like he doesn't. And sure enough, same situation as yours, goes back to his counterparts, and I see him. And one of them's a van, not even a cop car. And they talk, and he's like, you guys. And he basically gives us the get out of here. Go ahead. And so we leave, and I told my boy Buckley, I'm like, they were trying to tax us. They were trying to tax us. They were trying to say something in violation that this American tourist is going to be like, oh, really? And then, okay, pay me. You just got to be ready. I mean, those are those things that give you experience in your travel as you go through those things. And usually, because
that's the main concern.
It's a concern,
like,
bro.
Wherever you go, like if and like because they look at tourists and they're like, that's money. How can we get money from them? We got to find a way.
And at the same time, though, if you're aware of this, you can, because ultimately the government there is incentivized by tourism. So the government there knows we make 80% of our dollars every year because of tourists. Yeah. So these scammers, we're going to press hard on them. So as long as you don't let them take advantage of you and you push back enough, they're going to weigh their options. They're going to say, this isn't worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze here because the government's going to crack down on it. So let's let them go. But people are just vulnerable and they don't know. I mean, I could have thought if that was my first trip and I never was in the Navy and knew some of these things and how these people operate. Because in the Navy, they'll give you port briefs. They'll tell you these things because it's happened to sailors throughout the years, young sailors. So I already had an awareness of this, but I could see people that don't. And that's the reasons why they stay at resorts, because it's all inclusive. It's there. It's safe.
They stay in that. They don't move out of it.
They don't move out of that boat. But then do you really get the full experience?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see that. And it's just like, you got to ask yourself that question, Because really, it's a risk if you think about it, right? You know, we can go to Mexico right now, Cancun, and stay in the resort. Obviously, I'm looking to venture out and explore, but there's a risk,
It
you
is a
know?
risk.
There is a risk. And
Yeah.
it's just like...
And if you have a family or whatever else, or you're taking the wife or the kids,
right. It just
then
depends
makes
on the
sense.
situation, right? It just depends on the situation. Like, if we're going, fuck it, let's do it. Let's go out there and whatever happens, happens, you know?
Right.
But yeah, bro, you know, speaking of scamming, you know, I know I talked about this maybe last week, about the Tinder Slender.
Tinder Slender.
You don't remember that story?
Okay.
So, because I'm pretty sure you were probably talking to the other homie, Drake and Chris.
Okay.
And I was talking to Ovi and stuff. So I was telling them I watched the documentary on Netflix.
I do remember a little bit
Yes.
now. To recap, though.
So the guy is Simon. He pretty much scammed these ladies for hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? This guy did it in such a genius way that I'm like, what the fuck, right? So this guy creates a Tinder profile and all the pictures are him living this lavish life, right? But he backs it up with his Instagram, which also gave him credit, because the first thing you do on Tinder, right? You're looking at a profile, and the next thing you're doing, like, okay, where is this? Let me see if they have Facebook or Instagram. So this is what these chicks were doing.
Okay.
Oh, he got an Instagram. Look at this lavish life. And immediately when they hit, okay, this is a match for me, he would message them like, oh, let's meet up. Let's have some coffee.
Sure.
Boom.
Normal match. All right. Boom,
You want to
boom.
go with me on my private jet to this other country? And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. This is an opportunity. Let's do it. Right. So he gives them that little taste of his lavish lifestyle, right? Because he's pretending to be the CEO of this diamond company. That I'm the son of a billionaire.
Wow.
Right. So his plan is pretty much to get you in for a month. Like, I want you to fall in love with me within this month period. Right. So he's like, oh, I'm going on a business trip. So he's in London with this chick, going on a business trip to Greece, right? He's with another chick in Greece, but he's telling the chick in London, like, hey, I have this situation. I had an emergency. My bachelor got jumped. They're coming for me. I need you to send me money because they locked all my bank accounts and stuff. So they write up a check for $30,000 or credit card debt or loans, and they would send him that money. And with that same money, he's with these other chicks in Greece, living the lavish life. So with that chick, he's doing the same thing, creating this connection so they can fall in love with him. He goes into, let's say, Spain, and now he's with another chick. Now he's telling this chick to send him money because he has a situation. So he kept that cycle, and that's how he was able to be in these fancy 5-star restaurants.
And these girls are going into debt. These girls are going into debt to supply this.
This guy has, like, he's renting the private jets, the cars, like, he's spending about 20 racks a day.
You know what lesson because I know this was a way for love, and these girls were vulnerable because of the love.
Yes.
And they liked this guy, right?
Right.
But like, if you don't, the one thing I can correlate that with is like folks that are entrepreneur driven that want that success, but then they find guys that come in that give them a quick option, and girls that sit at home that want that love. This guy gave him a quick option. And like, what you got to be wary of, and I see it in this Web3, because even through VFriends, if they know you have a VFriend, I've got like 50 DMs on Discord trying to get me to click a link or get in their project or put my MetaMask, or I want free ETH and I got to give them my address. Anything that's ever been quick money, and I've been subject to this where I've seen something online, or anything that's quick love, or this guy's willing to do this, like, it's so crazy that folks can still get blinded to that, because anything that's quick usually doesn't pan out.
Think about it, bro. Women, for the majority of the part, think with emotions. When they make a decision, right, they think of emotion, right? There's this guy that's listening to you. That's what he was doing, listening to them, asking how your day was. I miss you. You already gave him a taste of his lifestyle, so they feel special. Like, damn, I really like this connection we're having. Like, Jesus, this feels unreal. So they make those decisions off of like he even would say, like, do you want to be my girlfriend, right? What happens is when you have a situation, send me money because they're coming for me. You're like, oh, that's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Damn, I need to help him out because he's my boyfriend. So let me do what I can, whatever I can. And it was like, it's kind of fucked up, but damn, this guy was on one. You have to be heartless for that kind of shit.
You gotta be. Yeah.
And he fucking, they say he fucking scammed them. All total, when it was all said and done.
What was the total rack?
10 mil.
10 mil from folks? Wow.
And to this day, they're paying their debt. All the females he got.
Like if I got a daughter out there right now, or I got, I do got a little sister, like whoever's telling you whatever, and they're promising X, Y, Z, like just like I approach my entrepreneurship game long term, like play the long game with them. Don't give them.
And it goes back to like, are we messed up that we want shit so quick?
Right.
It goes back to that.
It goes back to that.
Yeah.
Like, and somewhere we got mixed for that. Somewhere it's like, it has to happen quick. Has to happen now. I need it now. I need to show everybody I have it now.
If you go into the mentality, what easy comes, easy goes, then you're gonna, you go with that mentality, you're gonna be like, okay, like this came too quick, too easy. Like, nah.
And they're gonna take money from you.
Yeah,
or you're gonna lose money.
You have to be like, long term is gonna win the game always. Doesn't matter, and I think that's going back to Gary Vee. That's why he's been able to be so successful, because you know how many projects, and you were saying it, DMs that these creators get, promote this false coin, promote this bullshit ass, NFT, and like, we'll give you 50,000
cash grabs,
right? And then they're over here like, damn, I can promote that for a quick 50,000 in my bank account within like seconds, right?
Right.
But you don't look at the long term. How's that going to affect
my reputation? The people that bought it and went to zero.
Yes, is that those 50,000 that you're getting for that deal? Is it going to be worth it long term?
And most of the times the answer is no.
Exactly.
Yeah. But sometimes you got to learn the lesson the hard way, D. Like, and I love how we put this podcast out there and we try and bring awareness in this sense, like saying like, hey, everything needs to be long game. If it's quick, don't do it. But like some people really need to go through that lesson. And what's sad is some of them don't even share it. Like they need to share it with other folks, so folks don't run into this guy. What was the guy's name?
Simon something. Yeah. That's, I guess, I think he's still on Instagram. The crazy thing is he got sentenced.
He's been trending on Netflix. Like
yeah. He got sentenced to 15 months for good behavior. Did 5, and he's back on Tinder.
He's on Tinder right now.
Yeah, Simon Laviv.
Bro, please do not accept anything from Simon.
Wild, so it was interesting, but it does teach you a lesson, bro.
Yeah.
What easy comes, easy goes, and I think that's what you gotta, take away from that. But yeah, man.
Yeah, bro.
What else you got?
What a day. I mean, not much, bro. It was a solid day. It was an intro to Gary. I hope you guys like the content that Gary provided, but I cannot wait for VCon.
I think that's gonna be the highlight.
Yeah, it's everybody in the space and NFT space. If you're in it today, like it's so new. I mean, I can't tell you how many folks that I know that are heavy executives in the gaming industry. We're at lunch and they're actually interested because I'm the only one that talks about it. They're like, well, yeah, what is NFTs? I still don't get it. I still don't. So just knowing that we're so new and we're about to go to a conference where all these professionals that have built successful NFT projects already, Bored Ape Crypto, like they're all going to be there. So I'm excited for us to bring that to our channel and for folks to see how that develops, because I know you and I know our hunger, and we're going to interview some cool people there.
Yes, I'm excited for that, bro. And I think about it a lot.
Yeah, same.
And I know Gary's going to be coming out like, okay, this is going to be happening. This guest is coming in, and it's just going to keep going.
And it's 4 days, and we're staying in the same vicinity, same hotels. There's going to be after parties. There's going to be, I know Gary's famous for doing a pop-up wine party. So he'll like he did it at New York NFT. He just randomly picked one bar, and he brought all his wines, and he gave a free wine tasting, and everyone came. And like he just did it around the Super Bowl. So he went to the Super Bowl weekend, tweeted, I'm in LA, I'm doing a secret wine party. So like these events will pop up, and me and you will just be in the mix.
See, I'm fascinated because I know Gary moves smart. He knows what he's doing, right? Same with Kanye, right? I realize Kanye is
he's
like
a little off the wall.
Well, but he knows what he's doing, right? Because he figured a way to trend #1 on Twitter on top of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was second, Kanye was first.
I did not know this. Wow.
So I don't keep up with it too much, but what I've seen is like he was doing memes, kind of clowning on like David Peterson and stuff like that. But the way he was able to market everything to put himself on top
of the Super Bowl,
like what? Wow! So I'm curious, and I want to watch his documentary on Netflix called I think it's Genius or something like that.
Is that coming out? I don't know.
It's out.
Oh, it's out.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I need to watch.
I think I'm gonna watch it tonight because that's more fuel to the fire.
I hope it talks about his Nike, because Nike turned him down. Yes. Like his vision with Nike went south, right? And that Adidas Yeezy boost.
Bro, I don't know who is in office in Nike because they turned down Kanye, which is the genius mind of fashion sense. They didn't want to give him creative control, but they also turned down Steph Curry because he wanted to put like biblical stuff on the shoe. Nothing too crazy.
And that's why.
And they were like, nah, we're not doing that. And, there was a point where Under Armour, Steph Curry's were the number one shoe, and I think Steph Curry has a big presence. Not as huge, I would say, as like other...
he's the Under Armour.
He's the face. Him and The Rock are the face of Under Armour. But it just tells you like, Nike, come on, y'all fumbling the bag on that one.
For real. Like
on those two, Kanye and them Yeezys.
Thank God
Yeezy
they got
boost.
Drake. Thank God they got, and I think Drake wanted it more than anything. He just wanted his OVO brand,
but I like where the market's going. Like Latin artists are also collaborating. Artists,
Bad Bunny, baby,
J Balvin. I like those colorful. I'm a big
clean.
fan of those. Bad Bunny with Adidas.
Yeah, he got into Croc game too. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, bro, and creators too. I think eventually we'll come up with some shit. I find it interesting. Logan Paul and KSI launched their own Prime drink. Which is a nutrition hydration drink.
Oh.
And their thing is they're trying to compete with Gatorade. That to me is genius because they're calling out Gatorade like your drinks are trash. Your drinks are it's just full of sugars. Our shit is to hydrate you. You don't have to necessarily drink it when you're doing sports. This is just to hydrate you. It's flavor. It's very, very healthy. And
I love that innovation.
Think about it. I would love to interview him, Logan Paul, because he's such a business.
And he's gonna be a VCon.
He's gonna be such a business guru, bro. He's always ahead of his, because think about it. Body Armor, or what is it? Body Armor?
Well,
the drink.
There's Body Armor, and
Armor,
and Vitamin Water killed it for 50. 50
right.
Killed it with
but
Vitamin
we knew Vitamin Water and who was behind it. But Body Armor, we don't know. And they sold, I think, to Coca-Cola for like $5 billion or some shit. So if Logan Paul and KSI sell to Gatorade, they can turn that project into $1 billion.
Oh yeah,
plus.
it's a product they're built to sell. Yeah, no, because well, obviously those big companies, they have distribution set up, so they're set up with distribution.
But
if the product's good enough, they just get to buy it and make it their brand. Right. Yeah.
But think about it. For example, I think, and then they broke this down. Colin and Samir, they broke that shit down pretty good, and they said Gatorade. They have a cripple in the UK market. KSI is a big creator in the UK market. So if they buy Prime drinks and are able to, get in the UK market, it huge, brings Gatorade stocks up. So it's all the business side of things that I'm like, oh shit, really?
Yeah.
I never thought I thought Gatorade was all over the place.
But it takes a guy like Logan to be disruptive and say, I got a better product because it's healthier and it's better for you. And then all of a sudden you get acquired by the big guy because they don't want two separate brands in that space.
Yeah, because it's wild because KSI and Logan were enemies, but they did like a boxing match and all the, KSI is big in the UK. Like he's big. So the fact that they partnered up and brought their audience with their audience and boom, here we got this drink. They're going to be in the US and the UK. Like that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
That guy can be on his way to be a billionaire.
To
like
be a billionaire.
He sells that, like they can sell that for like $5 billion. Divide that by 2 and then the team, and you still can be left with a.
And think about him and his brother, bro. He's promoting his brother's fights. He's like the yin yang. They're like, this one's the aggressive one. This one's the creative one.
You have to have a team. That's what it comes down to.
You got to, bro. Gary even said it in our stuff together. Like he was like, you have somebody to lean on. Like it's so great to see you guys. And like, bro, just how. I bought this in May of last year and I didn't know, I knew I was going to be great and I didn't know how I was going to use the call, but to fast forward to right now and to see that it was the call with you and I, and it was part of this podcast. And now this is a platform that we get to show the viewers how it all transpired. Oh man, I'm excited, bro.
Shit, bro.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, bro. So you guys, man, really... You're going to get a lot of value, man. Like I said, we're just trying to have fun conversations, bring people that are really knowledgeable. We're going to try to be the dumbest in the room when we interview people, and we can just absorb and just keep growing, man. But we're going to take this podcast to the next level, bro.
Next level. We got 2 good guests coming on next week. Obviously, you'll wait to see who they are, but they were a big part of my growth in the gaming industry. One in particular helped me brand my company, build the website, and I'll be interested to see kind of what value he provides for you guys. But as Darwin said, we're gonna bring these people on the show. We're gonna treat it like we're sponges and really interview them and ask them questions that hopefully brings you value at home and how their story could relate to yours.
Yep. I think that's it, bro.
That's it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're
Half
going
court.
to wrap this one up. Half court. We out. Peace.